I don't know. I need to get them.
It's like there's something special in the air. I don't know what it is, but there's something magical.
I think it's a number. It's
a nice, round, beautiful number.
3 digits. It's not 420, otherwise Logan would know that.
That's right.
Even better than the perfect 10, it's the perfect 100. Episode number 100.
Woo, we
Florida
made
State
it.
Seminoles live right here. And these two, they have been here from the beginning and throughout. Although nobody's perfect anymore, They have been here throughout, as I have been. Jason Parker, NBC6, Logan Robinson, Noel Game Day. You guys are phenomenal. We've made it. As Logan said, we have made it.
I'm impressed that YouTube hasn't kicked us off yet. That's my thing. YouTube, Twitter, everyone, they've still kept us going. But even more impressive, Mark, I think you need to share this screen. I'm going to hit play on this real quick.
There's a few of us who have been slightly horrified in seeing this, but this would be our first attempt at Florida State Seminoles Live, May 29th, 2019.
Tonight it's going to be to your left. You got the big game, James Coleman. You can catch him on fifth quarter college football. Big game that James Coleman played at Florida State.
Folks, he's dressed up. Logan's going to come up in a second looking like a
There in the middle, we've got Logan. Jason,
I was always coming from the day job.
Middle there.
You were.
From the worldwide leader in those days, so I was always
also Logan Robinson.
dressed up.
James is in the car.
How you boys doing tonight? Good.
Look at me. Look how fat I was.
All I got out of Jason was good, the first response. It's changed a lot since then.
Wow.
Look at Logan. Look at Jason. Jason was not dressed up. Logan was dressed up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And James was still
And what gets us even more excited is that it took us about 5 years to get to 5,000. Took us about 8 months to get the other 5.
Oh, I got a congratulatory message there from Logan.
So appreciate that, Logan.
Look at you promoting your gimmick.
All right, so let's lock it in on some Florida State football chat.
Guys, I got to stop
the
this.
live chat. I'll keep in mind for everyone out there.
Let's just say, guys, seriously, thank God we've changed. Thank God we've grown over 100 weeks. I'm going to say from the bottom of my heart, we've had our moments where I wanted to throw you both off the top of a building, but I would also take a bullet for both of you. I love you guys. Let's do this for another 100 weeks.
I love it.
Too soon, Jason, on the bullet thing as from today. I will say a little too soon, but
we're fine. We're fine because once again, let's give a shout out to the Florida Gators because they have former players who've killed more people than Travis Rudolph's alleged to have done. So you know what? Congratulations! Shout out to Aaron Hernandez.
This is why this is the best show there is on a Wednesday night. You get this during the weekdays. You don't have to wait till the weekend at 9 p.m. on HBO. This is right here live on YouTube on the Mark Rogers TV show.
This is Mark Rogers' confessional, pretty much. That's what we got going on here.
Already got a shout out to Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Every show that I do has its own personality, but this one certainly draws the ravest reviews. There's no doubt about that.
And the biggest hate, too. So shout out to all our haters out there. We'll see this hour here. We got a good hour coming up here.
It's not even like really Florida State fans, but we have a majority of Miami fans because they really don't have much else to do during their really anything during football season because their season usually falls apart in the latter half. So they're over here with us on our stream, and then we got Gators now. Now we have Clemson fans in here, Ohio State fans. Just always good to see our good friends.
And what do they all have in common? None of them won the national title this year. So congratulations to all of them. You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yes, I know we went 3-6. I know it.
Here's our Florida State show every week, every Wednesday night, as Logan alluded to, 6:00 p.m. Eastern time. So share these links out on social media. Don't hog all the fun to yourself. Share the links out there on social media. So earlier in the day, Jason set up our rundown for the show. He is usually the one to jump on the topics, let us know, put us in order. And those producer skills come in handy here at FSU Seminoles Live. So a familiar face comes to Tallahassee. He's made his rounds around the state of Florida in one Randy Shannon, Jason.
And if you want to say that you were not shocked by this. I think everyone in Garden and Gold was a little bit shocked and surprised by the fact that a former Miami Hurricane player, a man who coached 20 years for the Hurricanes and the Miami Dolphins, served 4 seasons as head coach of the Canes, then went to the University of Florida after stops at TCU in Arkansas, was the defensive coordinator for 3 years, and, oh, by the way, served as an interim coach of the Florida Gators, is now our senior defensive analyst. But I'm going to tell you, Logan, and I'm going to tell you, Mark, I love it. I think that it is a phenomenal hire. I'm going to give Mike Norvell, I'm going to give the coaching staff, the people who made this hire, credit. This was a hell of a move. You know, there are some people who aren't great head coaches. I mean, he was 28-22 as a head coach at Miami, 1-3 as a head coach at the University of Florida, but he has a winning record as a head coach. He is, without a doubt, one of the best defensive coordinators in recent college football history. He was the man behind the defense for the second greatest college football team of all time, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. He was the defensive coordinator who helped turn around Florida, helped turn around UCF. And I'm going to put this out there, Logan. Are you ready for this hot take? I'm giving you your first hot take of the 2021 season.
Whoa.
Are you ready?
Right. I'm ready.
Randy Shannon will be Florida State's defensive coordinator before the end of the season.
No! Whoa. Are you sure? Are you sure? I know we're celebrating tonight, but are you already on the bourbon?
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
Get out. Wow.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Too many salads. You've been eating all those salads. I think those greens are starting to turn into a little buzz there.
Listen here, Mr. Chick-fil-A. I believe that the Randy Shannon hire was done for one main reason: to light a fire under Adam Fuller. Adam Fuller, that defense, once again, it's not so much losing to the teams like Miami or losing to the teams like Notre Dame. It's losing to bad teams like Louisville. It's losing to bad teams like Pitt. And the defense looked god-awful in both of those games. This move is going to light a fire under Adam Fuller. And he's going to have two options: shape up or ship out. And you start the year off with Notre Dame. You have North Carolina before the midpoint of the season. Those are two tough games right there that if the defense gets exposed, there's going to be no reason to keep him around. Now, do I want there to be a massive blow-up? God, no. I want us to be 6-0 by that midpoint after that North Carolina game. Odds are it's not going to happen. I do believe that defense is going to falter at times, and it's going to be enough that Randy Shannon will get the job. And I think he would do a great job as defensive coordinator.
I don't know if I'm right there with you, Jason. First, I'll give my take on him coming in. I think after learning today, Jason, I think we learned this afternoon how much he's getting paid. 45. You got to take that. That you take that any day of the week.
But I'm pretty sure he's also got that Charlie Weiss thing where he's got a couple different.
I'm sure he's got, but that ain't affecting FSU though. I'm just saying financially too, it's even better. I think for recruiting wise, definitely having his knowledge down in South Florida, and the state of Florida alone is huge. His past experience with coaching, being a head coach in Miami, he's got a lot of networking tools on hand with him, and he brings in some experience. He's not expected to be a coach. He's there to be an analyst, help out recruiting in any ways that he can. But I think this is just like a little, a good move for Norvell and the staff. And I think maybe you try to. I don't think it's necessary to maybe light something up under Adam Fuller, I would say, but I think I just don't see him being a defensive coordinator at FSU. I think Norvell would hire someone if Adam Fuller were to have a bad year this upcoming season, but it's just good to have extra knowledge there to help Adam Fuller in that role. But I think the biggest thing here is the pay that he's getting. Florida State's taking a big advantage of, and recruiting. Florida State is on a roll right now in recruiting, and this only helps it even more. And like you've been saying, Jason, this whole year since Norvell's, really been into recruiting now, this is his class coming in, you got to take advantage of those South Florida kids, getting those connections down. And that's only helps that. And I mean, that's just Norvell's making some big moves here by doing this. So, let's see if he takes advantage of it, and Florida State's able to start getting some things built down there.
First of all, thank you, Roger Smith, for your $5. We appreciate it here. We take all your money. We will take all your money. We'll take sponsors. We'll take whatever. Logan got Chick-fil-A as sponsor, but he didn't get a sponsor for us, so we'll talk about that later. But Logan, I'm going to ask you a legitimate question. I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Uh-oh.
You think Randy Shannon, a man with defensive coordinator experience at Miami, defensive coordinator experience at Florida, also stops at TCU, stops at Arkansas. We're not talking about somebody who's coached at FIU and then Marshall, and then all of a sudden is coming up here, or whatever, Stony Brook, or whatever the hell school out of Florida came from. You legitimately think Randy Shannon was brought in here to be the defensive analyst?
I do.
And you think that that's it?
Mm-hmm. I do. I don't think the play here for Norvell is where this would be the replacement for Fuller at all. I don't believe it at all. I don't think so. I think he just is giving. I don't know whichever deal. I don't know who approached who or whatever, but it seemed like they were able to find an agreement on something. And I think he's just more of a bigger addition to this analyst role. We see it with Saban, where he puts in a lot of former coaches around him. And a lot of them are analysts. And, maybe he's working to grow up a tier, maybe get back into coaching somewhere else, but he wants to get back into it here in Tallahassee. I don't know, but I won't say that his agenda is really to say, hey, if Fuller ain't working it, then you're going to be our defensive coordinator. I just don't see it just yet. I don't think.
I love you, Logan. I do love you. I think of you like a little brother. I do love you. So I'm going to say this as a friend, as somebody who cares about you. Do not ever compare Mike Norvell to Nick Saban. Do not say
did he not just bring in a former head coach?
Do not compare 3-6 with us last year to Nick Saban. Please don't. I hate Nick Saban, but please don't do that.
No one's comparing him to the on-field play, but the hires that he's bringing in as an analyst goes in the same route as what Saban likes to do.
Nick Saban also lost 6 games his first year at Alabama.
Take Nick's name out of your mouth. Please do that. Okay? I just don't see the Randy Shannon. I think I understand where you're coming from, Logan. I do agree with you to an extent. I think Randy Shannon is enough of a name, though, that you can't sit here and have him just as the analyst role. Do I think he moves into a position as a position coach, maybe linebacker coach, maybe something like that? Yes, I can see that as well. I just don't think you leave him sitting there as a quote-unquote defensive analyst. I feel like that is a waste of time with him. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of his talent, of his experience.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot more better options out there, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of ties for him in Florida and recruiting wise. But I think Norvell's happy where he's at with this coaching staff heading into the second year, having a full spring. You got Chris Marv, who a lot of people are high on. I think that group is going to play. That position group is going to take a leap this year. So I think that really only option would be if Fuller's gone, then you throw in Grantham, but or Shannon. I just don't see it just yet, but we'll see. This is why we're 100 weeks into this show. We'll be there. What? I'm bad at doing this. What, 30 weeks, maybe? I don't know. Not 30 weeks, 18 weeks.
Let's say 5 months. We'll leave it at that. 5 months.
Yeah. 5 months. We'll figure it out.
There's no math here at Mark Rogers TV. The Woods of College Football.
Never.
I'm going to say 22. That would be my guess off the top of my head. Because you go 5 months, 4 weeks per month, and then there's a couple of months that have 5 weeks.
I'll go 24. Shout out Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
There we go.
22, Doug Flutie. All right.
There you go. This is nice.
Can we go Florida State theme on 22 or 24? Jalen Ramsey, what was he?
He was number 8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's he in the NFL? 20?
We can do Telvin Smith, right?
Okay.
Telvin Smith, 22.
Telvin, maybe. 24, I don't. Terrence Parks. No, Terrence Smith. My bad.
Wasn't Lonnie Pryor 24?
I think. No, he was 20.
There's got to be some good Florida State players at 22 and 24. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's do Telvin Smith and Lonnie Pryor.
Lonnie Pryor, shout out to Okeechobee, MVP of the Orange Bowl.
I was preparing us for our next topic by looking up, as I typically do anytime there's a recruit, the 247 Sports Composite to get the metrics on that particular player. I made the mistake. I was running on autopilot. This was a bit amusing to me. I was running on autopilot, and instead of typing in Marvin Jones, I typed in Marvin Wilson, just on autopilot. I just went Marvin Wilson. He really disappointed, didn't he? The #1 rated defensive tackle in the country coming out of high school, the 6th rated player in the country, regardless of position in the country.
He also will not be signing with the 2022 Seminole class.
No, he won't.
So he will not be signing.
Marvin Jones Jr. possibly could, as the 5th rated defensive end in the country. 247 Sports has him rated as a top 15 player in the country out of Fort Lauderdale American Heritage.
And he has announced that when he will visit Florida State, he's going to come visit. He announces 3 stops this week. He's going to be in Columbus, Ohio. Mark's old stomping grounds from Ohio State host Oregon on September 11th. The 25th of September, he's going to go to Norman, Oklahoma for the Oklahoma-West Virginia game. And then November 13th, a certain game inside Joe Campbell Stadium when the Florida State Seminoles host the Miami Hurricanes, he's going to be paying a visit there. So right now, his final visit is in Tallahassee. Logan, your thoughts? Is that a good move, bad move? What are your thoughts?
What, for Marvin Jones Jr., like having the potential to get him, or like
about choosing Florida State as right now his final stop? Obviously, it's 5 stops. I think he probably will visit Miami at some point, and another school, maybe in Alabama, maybe in LSU. What are your thoughts at this point about being his final stop right now?
Yeah, if Florida State has the big potential here to have Marvin Jones Jr. have the last visit, that's always huge. That's huge in anybody's recruitment. Some kids, it really sways on the last people they talk to. I'll be honest with you. We've seen it happen a lot with Florida State, where there's very high intentions. We hear a lot of good things about a recruit coming to visit, and then the next weekend they're off to Florida and they're gone, or it just kind of goes week by week on where they're visiting. But actually having a big time target here, you get a legacy commit to come visit, is humongous. I've been able to spend some time with Marvin Jones Sr. a few times, and he loves Tallahassee. I've seen him after games too, having a good time. I really like him, and he just wants his kid to go where he thinks is best for him. He's very supportive of his son, and I think having this last visit here and being able to just spend time with him, and the staff can take advantage of. This is a huge need to. This is not just you want to get a legacy commit, but this is a talented guy, talented kid, in a position of need. So Florida State's going to set up everything, get all the balloons out. They're going to get the cakes made. They're going to get some cupcakes going. Like everything's going to be all set in stone for this visit, and the cupcakes will be made, Jason. They will be.
I think there's going to be more than cupcakes.
There's going to be some steaks involved.
Some lobsters involved and something like that. First of all, let me shut up these Miami idiots for a second who are ripping up Randy Shannon. Just remember, when you make fun of us for taking a UM guy on your staff, your head coach is a Florida State grad, so shut the hell up. That's part number 1. Part number 2, going back to Marvin Jones Jr. for a second, I think it's a huge commit. It's a huge thing that Florida State is his last stop. And we talked about this earlier. I spoke with him when American Heritage played in the state championship game this past December in Tallahassee. He even admitted that there was something special about winning the state championship in Tallahassee, in his father's old college stomping grounds. It's going to come down to Miami or Florida State. With all due respect to Mark's Buckeyes and to the Sooners and anyone else, it's going to be Miami or Florida State. I think the advantage Florida State has is, number 1, Miami, with all due respect, doesn't have a sexy home schedule this year. They play Alabama in Atlanta. They go to North Carolina. They go to Florida State. Probably their best home game arguably would be Virginia Tech, and they're not going to have that home atmosphere. So I feel like that's why this is important. Florida State has to be the final stop. He can't go anywhere else after this. Florida State needs to make sure he either leaves Tallahassee with a commitment or leaves Tallahassee with something damn close to a commitment. Because Florida State needs Marvin Jones Jr. If he goes anywhere else, that's a huge loss to the class. If he goes to Miami, that is a huge dagger to go to a hated rival. I think right now, if you're betting on where he signs, I'd say it's probably Florida State 60-40 over Miami. At this point, 60% Florida State chance, Miami 40% chance. a big visit. And I think it all depends on where Florida State is at that point. Florida State could conceivably be a 5-3 team, a 6-3 team going into that Miami game. If Florida State is playing to the best of its potential and is 6-3 or better, I think Florida State then is seriously in the driver's seat. If Florida State stumbles along the way and is a 4-5 team, and Miami comes into that game 8-1 at that point, then we could be in serious trouble.
Yeah, I think talking about two legacy recruits with Armella, the offensive tackle, 5-star, and then you've got Marvin Jones Jr. Right now, I think the chances of landing both of these guys, I'd say you have a bigger chance of Marvin Jones Jr. I do think, like Jason said, I think Florida State has a lead right now over Miami. It's still so early. So, I mean, saying that right now isn't going to do much, but still, I think Florida State has a higher advantage, and a good start to the season is only going to help that. I think that's for both of these guys. I haven't heard some too solid positive things about Armella in the last couple of weeks. There could be some potential where Florida State may no longer be in that mix of teams and his top, whatever he's about to drop next. But I think he was still, though, planning on being at the spring game. So I think there's still some work there for Armella. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think Marvin Jones Jr., I think Florida State has a good chance here and with competing with the in-state rival Miami for sure.
Armella, I believe, is going to either Alabama or LSU. I think he's going to one of those two schools. And if you're asking me, is it a position of need? Absolutely, on the offensive line after the way Logan's favorite position played god-awful last season. But I think if you're saying which one do I want and you can only have one, it'd be Marvin Jones Jr. because he can play that hybrid linebacker defensive end, kind of that Jason Taylor-esque. No, I'm not saying he's Jason Taylor, but he can play that Jason Taylor-esque type position. I think that's more of a position of need at this point.
Yeah.
Just to set the metrics on Julian Armella, because not everybody's a Florida State fan in here or a Miami fan that are looking at him in particular, because we run a national show here at the Voice of College Football. Out of Miami, Florida, Columbus High School, 14th rated offensive tackle in the country. Jason's got an Alabama LSU lean on Armella. Okay.
I got a guy. Yeah. I know some people. I got guys.
You do. You know a guy.
I wish James would have been on here this evening because he just had a recent interview earlier this week with Mike Norvell. So I thought maybe he'd jump in here, maybe throw us a couple of things that they were discussing. But James must be in the car, bad internet. He might be in bed. He's got late night shows, so he's probably taking a little nap right now.
James, if you can hear us, please sign on.
It sounded this afternoon like James was going to be here. I was hopeful.
James also has kids. He's not like Logan, who's ignored his kids in the streets of Colorado. He takes care of his children.
My kids are on rags right now.
Okay.
We do have the spring game coming up here at what is now currently still Doe Campbell Stadium. I went right past that comment.
You did.
And it's coming up
funny
at
Mark thinks it's funny. He knows it too.
A little 5 o'clock action Eastern time. And before we dive into the spring game and what the expectations are here, we got to give a little love here to Noel Game Day. Logan's got that thing just humming. It's just fired up on all cylinders every day, just cranking out the good content. Logan, let us know what you got over there. We want all the folks to know what's available.
It's really because of Jason. He keeps me grounded. He'll DM me or text me and say, make sure you're staying humble. Don't get cocky. It's really him. But we're just doing shows. I think we haven't posted it yet, but for the people listening now, we're gonna have Nico Marchio on tomorrow night with us, a Florida State quarterback commit, to help us preview the spring game and whatever he's up to. He came up to us during the spring scrimmage 2 weeks ago and said what's up, and I'm really excited to get to talk to him. We talked with MJ Morris, who is not committed anywhere, but I really have a high thoughts on MJ Morris. But I think it's going to be it's interesting. MJ Morris and Nico Marchio. I don't know. I want to talk with Nico tomorrow and get that discussion going. But that's on Hear the Spear, our podcast, and then the rest is just pushing out content. It's the off season. I feel like is something that we really focus on the most because it's kind of bleak So being on shows like this and being able to talk some sports with you guys and football is the best part of the week, honestly. So
Jason, I don't know how long we're going to be able to hang on to Logan here. He's
I'm here.
I'm the LeBron James to his Chris Bosh. So, he rides my coattails to the championship. So it's fine. He'll be around for a little bit. But I have to ask you, Logan.
Yeah.
You got the Noel Game Day hats.
Yeah.
If you follow Noel Game Day on Instagram or on Twitter, they have the Noel Game Day little wristband type things. Yeah, there we go. You see them right there. At what point are you going to not be cheap and actually send some of those to James Market?
I promise you on the hats, I'm telling you right now, the hats are literally being made because I had to send it to our members first, but they are actually being made. And once I get them in, I have them going to you with these, and then I've got other people too that I've got to take care of that I have not given some hats to some of our staff members, so I feel kind of bad.
I also do want to put something out to our listeners, to our viewers here, our loyal viewers. We love you guys. We appreciate it. If anyone wants to get a Nike dry fit garnet shirt and put in gold 3 and 6 Mafia, I will wear that here on Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. I'll wear it to the Notre Dame game. That's how much I think we should be the 3 and 6 Mafia. We should come out on the field this season to 3-6 Mafia popping my collar. That's what we should do. We should embrace this.
I think you're just going to have to get some.
T.A. Burdine is an idiot. T.A. Burdine, don't be dumb. I know it's hard for you. You're like most Miami fans. You're stupid. You barely graduated high school. Don't be dumb. Use the half a brain you have. And before we talk about the spring game, let's get this out of the way. It's been the elephant in the room. We just have to deal with it. Logan, why do people need to hit the like button?
We've been doing this for how long now? And, eventually I think we're going to get to 100 likes before the show ends. I think we're around 20 right now. We're at 19. If we get to 50 likes, I don't have a drink on me tonight, sadly, which really sucks, to be honest, because I was going to celebrate. But I kind of drank a little bit too much last night, or we would be drinking right now. And I have to drive. It's stepmom's birthday dinner. So hit that like button. Hit that like button right now. If you hit that like button, put in the comments which number you were whenever you hit the like button. Put in the comments. We would definitely appreciate it. You guys are awesome. But really, a like helps this video go far. So you don't have to even pay anything. You don't have to do much. You don't even have to do an equation. Just hit that like button with that one finger that you have. Even if you don't even have fingers, use your nose, something, please.
Okay, first of all, that was a morbid way you went there with that one. If we get to 100 likes, Logan, I will say something negative about Willie Taggart, and you will say something negative about Mike Norvell's coaching.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Whoa. I didn't know. I wasn't listening.
And I guess regardless, I can say something negative about both of them.
You have to say something negative about Jimbo Fisher.
Okay. I can do that. All right. We've had 112 in the stream here. Wow. During our 40 minutes or whatever it's been on air. So let's get the likes up, as Logan has told us. And man, look at we've got wristbands, we've got hats, we've got all sorts of things going on there at Noel Game Day. I got to pick up my marketing tips from Logan.
This is China. This is China.
We don't have that. Logan has them. We don't have Bupkis. Logan has it. He missed my birthday. He missed Hanukkah. He missed the anniversary of my divorce. He missed all these highlight moments that I could have gotten a hat. I wear a hat every single week to hide my bald spot, but no, can't get one that says Noel Game Day. No, at all. No.
Don't worry. They're coming in. It's going to be a sweet. I'm going to give you a note too. I'm going to leave a note for you.
I'm just happy, as I said a few minutes ago, just to have Logan still showing up for these shows. Man, he's got so much cranking out there.
And you know what?
It's coming, Jay.
You know what else we're happy about? Game day, Saturday. Florida State has a game they cannot lose. They can't technically win either because they're playing each other, but Florida State cannot lose this game Saturday. Logan.
No.
They can't. Logan, here's what I need from you. Give me your 3 positions or players that you are looking at the most coming up this Saturday in the spring game.
All right. I've got one. This is an easy one for me. Treyshawn Ward. Last 2 scrimmages, I felt like he's been the most impressive running back, definitely in the first scrimmage whenever he was getting most playing time there. I thought he looked fantastic. We've heard so many good things about him during practices the last 2 years and him showing out during the start of Tour of Duty, and it's turned into where we're getting to see it in person. I think he's really going to – I think he's competing for a lot of playing time this year. There's some rumors going around that he is on scholarship, so nothing was posted there. Doesn't seem like he really wants to have the hoopla of that, so I won't say congratulations to him because I don't think it's like really official anywhere. They might be waiting or something. But anyways, Treyshawn Ward, for me, I'm watching on Saturday. Secondly, I'm going to be watching the defensive line, primarily defensive ends. I want to watch Derek McLendon. I want to watch Quashawn Fuller and even Griffiths too. I'm pretty set. I feel like Jermaine Johnson's fine, but I want to see who's going to be this other guy. I know we haven't seen Keir Thomas play in these scrimmages yet. I want to see how these three work because I've been pretty impressed with their product in the last couple of scrimmages. Definitely Quashawn Fuller and Derek McLendon. So I want to see what this pass rush is looking like because let's be honest, it was dog dookie this last season. It was pitiful, it was embarrassing. It's something that it couldn't even be competed with in middle school. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens on Saturday with the defensive ends, and then let's look at maybe the quarterback play. I mean, who else? Quarterback play is fun. It's still the spring, but let's see how Milton looks like with some people in the stands. He's had a kind of a sticky start to the spring. That's understandable. You're learning a new offense. You're also trying to see how you're moving and getting throws down with building chemistry with wide receivers. So far, I think his mobility's looked fine. But I want to see if these connections with some of these wide receivers is looking better because in the second scrimmage, it was way off. Let's see how he looks like with people in the stands. I do think he's like a guy like Jameis who really does better when there's more people watching him and he plays better. So let's see how Milton looks like on Saturday. And let's see how Tate Rodemaker looks. I'm pretty set. I feel like Jordan Travis, there's a few things there, but Tate Rodemaker, I think, is making some strides, and I think he's actually going to make some impressive plays on Saturday. He's kind of like my sleeper pick to have a big day on Saturday. So that's kind of – and I need to say his name right, Rodemaker, not Rodemaker.
Well, you segued into my three because my first one is obviously Jordan Travis. I think we've talked about this before. If we're saying who's going to be the starting quarterback against Notre Dame on September 5th, we all think it's going to be Mackenzie Milton. James has talked about hearing that Jordan Travis is getting a lot more love from the coaches and could make it a serious competition. I think this is his chance to solidify whether this is going to be an actual competition or whether Milton has this going. Because that Kenny Dillingham, Mike Norvell are not going to let the defense get within the same zip code as the quarterbacks come Saturday. So we're not going to really see any pressure on it. So we need to see Jordan's arm. We need to see, is it improved? Because, he had a good year last year, but his arm was the question mark. He's got great legs, but can his arm make him a serious quarterback to make this battle? Shalom, happy Shabbat Friday afternoon. Thank you very much. That's number one. Number two for me is the defensive backs, the secondary. It was a putrid area last year, I think, at a lot of times. And it was disappointing because of all the recruits that came in. And then we had what we had. We had Louisville picking us off. We are destroying us. We had Pittsburgh destroying us in the passing game. I feel that that's the area that I need to see serious improvement from as far as that concerned. And my third area is the offensive line. I think that's Logan's favorite area. Logan wishes he was an offensive lineman because he could actually play offensive line better than most of our guys last season. Hell, Logan could have been a better offensive lineman than most of our offensive linemen last season. But that's an area that I need to see. And we're not going to see – I think the thing is we need to keep our expectations in reality. We're not going to see a Florida State team that can compete with Clemson or Miami or Florida come this game. We need to see a Florida State team, though, that gives us a little bit of hope that things will get a little bit better. We need to see Jordan throwing the ball better. We need to see – I'm not trying to be a smartass. We need to see Mackenzie Milton get through an entire practice and not get hurt. We need to at least see a little bit of hope that things are going to be better in 2021 than it was during the 3-6 Mafia season last year.
Hey, just a little heads up there, Jason. He's been through the whole spring so far and has made it through a lot of practices safe and sound.
And has the defense been within 10 yards of him on the field?
Yes, and the scrimmages, yes.
and then they all
not hit. They're not going to hit him, obviously, but they have been having the pass rush on him.
And that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have. He's not going to be seeing the pressure. If you think Notre Dame's going to take it easy on him, come September 5th, Notre Dame's goal is going to be try to knock him on his butt, rip his leg off, and then beat him with his leg. That's our concern.
I'm still. It's still the spring, so there's no reason to make I don't think so, like a prediction right now or whatnot. But I still am in the boat that this is not Milton's job to lose. It's Jordan Travis's job to lose. So I'm not even thinking about it there yet. We'll see. Like I said, I got to see what's going on because the last couple of scrimmages, definitely this last one, it wasn't pretty. Just wasn't pretty at all. That's why I'm saying it's still the spring, but both Travis and Roadmaker are levels ahead right now. And we'll see. We'll see if Milton, like we've heard, he's very smart minded, is very smart quarterback, can adjust and get it together in a short amount of time. And he's a veteran. I think he can do that. But right now, it's Jordan Travis's job to lose, in my opinion, for sure.
So who do you think is QB1 right now? If you're telling me
Jordan Travis, yeah.
So you think right now, if the Notre Dame game was on Saturday,
Jordan
Travis is the quarterback?
Oh yeah. Give me I'll put the money up.
That's a hot.
Are you surprised, Logan, that you're saying that right now compared to what you thought 2 months ago?
I wouldn't say so. If we get into the fall and I'm still like that optimistic about it, or I'm that confident, I should say, then yeah, I'll be shocked. But since it's spring and Milton's he's just been here 2 months practically, or 3 months, I'm not too shocked. He's still learning the playbook, getting it down, building chemistry with wide receivers and whatnot. So if we get closer to fall, then that's something maybe that I'll be worried about. But right now, I would be probably saying the same. Even if Milton was just lighting it up, I still say it's Jordan Travis's job to lose right now.
Our man DeAndre, BGPO Football Funk, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. And our 100th celebration episode right here. May of 2019 was the start. And again, Roger Smith, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. I'll be here after the spring game, roughly 7:30 on Saturday night. We'll see if anybody else wants to join me, but I'll be here to give my little take on Mike Norvell's team.
You'll be watching it?
I'll be watching, of course. That's what I do.
That game's going to be over by 6:15. Let's calm down. The ACC network has a lacrosse to show afterwards, so let's be calm down with that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that looks. Maybe I can get on my phone for a little 5 minutes situation.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
It's supposed to be pretty nasty on Saturday, which there's no intentions on, from what I was told a couple hours ago, there's no intention on changing. They're not going to change the date. There's too many recruits coming. There's over projected 100 recruits to come. You've got 4 quarterbacks, coming in. They're not going to cancel it or postpone it. Kids are already traveling in tomorrow. But I wouldn't be shocked if they move it earlier in the day. That wouldn't shock me whatsoever, because the severe part of the weather's later in the day. It's still going to be raining all throughout the day in the morning, but you can still play football in the rain.
Did you ever take a meteorology course at Florida State?
No, but my dad, he's a pilot, so he's all about meteorology. He's a nerd, all into that hurricane stuff, and he's a hurricane tracker nerd.
Aren't we all?
We are. If you're in Florida, you have to be.
Logan, I'm not going to lie to you. That might be a hotter take than the one I said about Randy Shannon. For you to sit here and say, and I get where it's coming from, but I do not believe that right now you have Mackenzie Milton transferring in to ride the bench or to be QB2 at this point. I think he's QB1 on name alone. I think he's QB1 building on the reputation. I think there should be an actual battle. I think there should be an actual competition, give everyone a chance. Mm-hmm. But I think right now, if you're saying who's starting the opener, I think it's Milton 1, Travis 2, Tate. I'm not even going to try to correctly pronounce his last name 3.
Yeah, let's see what the chat thinks. Put in the chat. Who do you think is going to be the starter quarterback, Jordan Travis or Mackenzie Milton? I really want to see how Saturday goes because we've been running scrimmages, just little light scrimmages here and there. Let's see how it looks like with a game feel. I feel like that's where Milton can take advantage of. He's he's got great poise and it's not going to be like gratifying where there's 50,000 people in the stands, but still you have a little bit more people watching. He knows that he's got a fan base behind him and supporting him, the whole country supporting him. So let's just see how he plays on Saturday. And I might switch it around, but right now for sure, I feel like this is definitely Jordan Travis's job to lose. And I thought he's looked pretty solid in these last two scrimmages. The thing with him, if he can get his throwing down, accuracy, getting his early reads done, it does end up being a pretty scary quarterback. Definitely if he can stay healthy too. He's put on 10 pounds or so. If he can stay healthy throughout the whole season, that is a scary quarterback if he can get just 20%, 20% better at throwing the football.
Is our poll asking who would be the starting quarterback today or who is going to be the starting quarterback in week 1?
I think week 1, right, Jason?
Yeah, because we don't know who would be the starter now.
Well,
that can't be answered.
Who do you think will be the starting quarterback week 1? Do you think it will be Jordan Travis or do you think it will be Mackenzie Milton?
Is that the poll or for me?
No, that's our poll question. Who do you think will be the quarterback week 1?
I see we're 50-50. I see Lewis put in Milton. And then Mr. Wren says Travis. There's a few.
This is enthralling television right now.
This is exhilarating.
We're reading names.
It is, isn't it? Do we think that regardless of what happens on Saturday, that the coaching staff is going to look at it as when we hit the field in August, it's anybody's job?
I feel like nothing will be decided by Saturday. By the time things end, let's say it does kick off at 5. By the time it ends, it's around 6:30. I don't think we're going to have a definitive, it's Mackenzie Milton, it's Jordan Travis. I think you're still going to have the entire summer camp. I think you're going to have the entire fall practice. I don't think we will know who is starting probably until I'd say either the Thursday or Friday before. I think they're going to probably wait until the absolute last moment because of the fact that I think they do want to give Jordan Travis as much of a chance as possible. I just think that Mackenzie Milton, it's going to be a lot like, and we asked the question, or you were asked a question a couple of weeks ago about the whole transfer situation. Do I think Everett Golston was light years better than Sean McGuire at quarterback? No, probably not. Was Everett Golston going to start the 2015 season no matter what? Yes, because he was the big name transfer. I think the name alone, I think after what happened last season, I think that is going to be the name alone.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I love whoever put in their vote here. Richard, somebody said whoever wins the job is going to be the starter, and that's a great pick there. They really did a lot of knowledge there. Worked their brain quite a bit.
Genius, Richard. Wow.
Yeah. I don't think after the spring game there's going to be anything of like, all right, so this is our leading guy heading forward, because I think this spring game and the layout that it is, it's not going to be anything too special. This is exactly what these scrimmages have been doing. They're the same exact thing. We're practically just going into Doug with just more people in there. I'm sure there will be music. It's really just to probably get a ton of recruits there too, but it's just the same exact format that Norvell and the staff have been running at these spring scrimmages. They're going to do some special teams here and there in between some sessions. They said they're going to do something at the end of the scrimmage. Maybe they're going to do a lot of goal line. If they start off with goal line, then that's exactly what they were doing with the spring scrimmages, because that's what they have done.
Exactly. So. We make a big deal. Media makes a big deal. Fans make a big deal about the spring game because we can watch it on TV. But that doesn't make it any more important to the evaluation by the coaching staff than the other scrimmages.
I have to ask Logan a question. I'm sorry, I apologize for interrupting. I have to ask Logan a question. Logan, who the hell said let's get 3 University of Florida grads to be our celebrity coaches for this thing? For those of you who don't know, it's going to be Jeff Cameron from 97.9 ESPN Radio in Tallahassee and Gene Deckerhoff, who, let's admit it, Gene is a Florida graduate. And then on the other side of the coaching staff is going to be Andy Staples and Adrian Adelson, who are both Florida grads. Logan, defend your school.
I don't even know what they're doing. Is this like some kind of analyst role they're doing live on a live stream or something? Is that what that is?
Coaching. They will be coaching. They're these quote unquote celebrity coaches.
Having writers as guest coaches. I don't know whether they're just gonna be on the sideline, maybe doing. I understand maybe it's all definitely for PR, but it doesn't really make sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, the UF thing is a little interesting to me. If I want to have like, never mind, I'll just start. But I just think it's just. Never mind. It doesn't make any sense to me overall. Like the whole idea of having the guest coaches thing, and then let alone you're having UF grads. But I just didn't understand it, and I just kept on swiping down. It's kind of like my Tinder. I just keep swiping left. I just was like that doesn't interest me.
Yeah, well, that's like a 1% chance of coming across somebody.
That is true.
That's you gotta have high standards, but. Yeah, in terms of the coaches, oh my word, like that should have hit somebody at some point. Like I don't think it's a big deal in a way. What does it matter? But at the same time, the look of it is atrocious. Somebody at some point would have been like adding this up, and they're why this is our spring game. This is pretty much when you put our brand, our university out there, and we should be thinking about things like that. Somebody should.
I don't want to defame either one of them because they're both very good writers, very good at what they do. Andy Staples is a phenomenal writer. Andrea Adelson is a phenomenal writer. But they're Gator grads. And Adelson grew up rooting for Miami. She's from South Florida. Guys, there are writers that went to Florida State. Hell, I would, if I'm not playing at the time, but I'll coach one side. Logan, you can coach the other side. Let's get this going.
Yeah, get the.
I would love that. I would pay for that. Well, not much, but I would pay something to see that. Yeah.
I'd kick Logan's butt up and down the field so bad. We'd be eating steak and lobster, and you'd be eating the beans. And
I don't know. I think Logan would coach them up to be some alpha dogs. Man, they'd be hitting. They'd let you know that you were in a game.
Imagine that, viewers. Mark is on Logan's side. Imagine that, viewers. Who would have guessed after 100 episodes that Mark would take Logan's side?
I'm just calling it like I see it. I can see Logan coaching up the boys and getting them fired up to hit somebody in the mouth. I can just see it.
Logan's team would be drunk before kickoff.
That is
Logan might be drunk before kickoff. I don't think he would let the guys do that, though.
Wait, Logan would? Logan would definitely. There's not a question.
He would motivate them by telling them they can have all the alcohol in the world that they want if they win the game. There's your motivation, man. We're going to party big time after the game.
And I have the bag of cash ready to go. So
got to get the W.
It would be better. My motivator would be better. His would be $10 PBRs from Publix, from Club Publix on Ocala. I'd have bags of cash.
Hey, Jason, here's Georgia Bulldog when they haven't won a national championship since I've been alive. But he came in here to ask, does FSU still have a football team? We do. And us and Georgia will have something in common. We're both going to get our butts kicked by Clemson this year. So come in and tell us how. That's what I want to hear. What's his name? SEC dog. It's Rack Dog. Rack Dog.
Make sure to come back after Clemson wipes you up and down the field in Charlotte and tell us. And I want to hear all the excuses because I'll tell you right now. Here, I'll set it up. We're going to get beat by Notre Dame. Florida State will get beat by Notre Dame. I will still be there rooting for Florida State, but we are going to get beat by Notre Dame. I want to hear your excuse when Clemson beats you.
Me being the one that's channel-minded here, now that you bring up some of these people in the live chat, I do see some new names there in the live chat. So we're here every day, the voice of college football, breaking it down. Just talked USC just a few minutes ago. That record's going to be out here soon. Arkansas, Texas A&M, all sorts of. We're covering everybody. So just lock it in right here at the voice of college football. And you get your free Florida State mask if you go to voiceofcollegefootball.com. And Jason is going to bring this on display, even though this is probably not the same mask. But, you get the impression here. And don't expect to look as good as Jason, though. Keep that in mind. Let's be reasonable. Keep that in perspective. You're not going to look as good as Jason, but we still want you to get your Florida State mask or your favorite team, since we probably only have like Florida State 12% representation there in the live chat. I'll let everybody else know. We got 35 teams there. Free masks, 20% off your first purchase there at thevoiceofcollegefootball.com.
Let's give a shout out to Logan's cat, who's decided to join us here.
As
Logan's
always,
cat.
she had to come celebrate the 100. She had to make an appearance, a guest appearance.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know she's been high. I've been closing the door lately, but I was like, you know what? Let's keep it open. She's one of our favorite fans too. One of our biggest fans, I should say.
Did she hit the like button?
Let's check actually on our end. Let's see if we've been. Oh, she hit it way earlier. We heard it. We were like at like the 7th like. Should we start bringing in some, since it's the off season, should we maybe start bringing in maybe some guests for the people to entertain them? You think some guests would be fun?
Absolutely.
James has got some hookups.
I feel like
You've got some hookups.
This is something we can talk about after the show, guys. Like, maybe not expose this to the viewers.
Hey, this is the behind the scenes. People love this.
It's the last 5 minutes of our 100 show, Jason. We're trying to see what we're taking a survey.
I shouldn't point this out, but somebody did a horrible production job here, especially for it being the 100th show, that the graphics are red and they are not the typical Florida State garnet.
Well, that's what happens when you let slackers do their jobs.
My graphics person just dropped the ball tonight.
John Sarian says Jason does look better in a mask. I agree.
It gets us even more excited.
A call-in show. They said a call-in show. That's what I've been like. I have been all about it because I feel like we could have some amazing arguments because, like we said, majority of our viewers, well, let's be honest, are Miami fans, like we said, that are on their couch eating chips all day.
I now have the setup for the call-in show that I do just about every night, 8:00 tonight, folks. So I think we can pull it off to where we don't have any audio issues. So let's give it a shot.
We should. That would be fun. That would be exciting because these people have been with us for almost 80, 70, even maybe 100 weeks. Being able to hear the voice behind these. Let's see if all this talk, they can bring it to some voice over here and talk some trash.
And really, I don't recognize any of these people as being people that call me on the call-in shows that I do. So,
Mark, if you want to take the screening in here, because I'm going to ask Logan a question. Go ahead and take the screen here. Go ahead.
Take the screen? What are we doing here?
Share the screen. Just share the screen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Logan, we did this 100. This is 100 episodes ago. What have you learned in 100 episodes from us here with Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, as we see me about 45 pounds ago? Good God.
Well done, Jason.
Yeah,
that's an accomplishment. I'm being serious.
Yes.
I just sincerely appreciate it. I do mean that. James is down there still in the car. He's still trying to get home for this right here. I believe we did this one on a Friday at 6 p.m. I mean, our time slot has changed so much. But tell me, Logan, what have you learned in 100 weeks?
That's crazy. They start off at Fridays. I remember that. Golly. And then I got addicted to alcohol because Willie Taggart. Anyways, yeah, I've learned that I was really, really nervous when I started off with Mark Rogers. Like I'd be sweating. I was like nervous because I wasn't used to doing these live shows in front of people. And like, I had to do my homework. You actually got to know kind of what you're talking about. And I used to be not that way. I was just kind of more focused on doing content for NG, but definitely appreciated Mark and Jason and James, all of us getting on here, grinding some stuff out, and definitely Mark for giving me the opportunity because I'm just like jerking all over the place. I'm nervous as hell because a lot of these guys got way more knowledge than me and way better with their history. So I've just learned a lot from just being on here more than anything, just talking trash. And Jay,
you only have one natural ice box up there. You've grown that.
Crazy? Isn't that crazy? Now I'm looking at this wall that's almost done, and this whole wall over here is completely done. So, but yeah, that was fun being able to. This is 100 a week, so bye. That's it. See, I'm no longer.
Your hair looks better now.
He just wanted to get in 100, sharpen the skills, and get out.
I'll tell you this.
The one thing that I noticed is I've made massive changes to my set. I was sitting on the other side of my shelf here with the football helmets. That's pretty much what I've changed.
The one thing I'll say I learned from doing this for 100 weeks is both of you are great at what you do. We joke and we kid a lot, and I've gotten people saying, oh my God, people I work with say, oh, do you guys get along like each other? Yes, because I will tell you this. Even when we've had our disagreements, I can still respect your opinions. I can still respect what you guys had to say because you guys know what the hell you're talking about. And I'll say this, Mark, you have been amazing. I tell people, support Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. He knows what he's talking about, whether it's Florida State, Ohio State. I can't believe you have an Arkansas channel. But Arkansas, USC, Nebraska, whatever, guys. Fan bases support him. He knows what he's doing. And if you like Florida State football, if you're a Florida State football fan, Florida State basketball fan, Florida State baseball fan, no game days where you need to be at. It was number 2 behind Chop Chat when I was at Chop Chat. I'm done with Chop Chat. I'm on the Noel Game Day bandwagon. I'm hoping that maybe I'll get a hat someday. Who knows at this point? But for Logan to do what he's done at such a young age and be able to turn his blog into a real deal thing that I think is right up there, if not better than War Chant, than Noles 24/7, than all these other sites. I commend both of you. You guys are amazing at what you guys do.
Well, Jason, I appreciate that. That's very gracious and kind of you. And without Jason contributing what he does, Logan, from a different perspective, it all works when you put us all together. And I will say this, Jason, again, it's very gracious of you to say the kind words concerning my knowledge. But part of that understanding is that I get out of the way when I've got something to say, when I've got a true take on Florida State football because I watched the game or I've got some perspective. Sure, I want to be right in there with you guys, but I know enough to back off and let the experts talk Florida State football and really go through the personnel and go through the situations, go through the history, everything that you guys know that I know I don't. So that's part of the way it works as well.
And he's not here right now, but I want to give a shout out to Big Game James Coleman. All the times that James has come on, he's the reliable man who's put on the garnet and gold. He's put on the helmet. He's played. He's busted his butt in practice and on the field. He's probably more Seminole than Logan and I will ever be on that one. And let's give also a shout out to the fans. Whether you're a Florida State fan, whether you're a Miami fan like Ronan, whether you're a Florida fan, whether you're whatever, you come on here to support us. You come in here to talk smack to us. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate it. You guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Even if you're an idiot Miami fan, we still love you and support you.
Yeah, no, I've learned so much from all of y'all because y'all got so much past knowledge that I learn every day. It's like I'm in class, but I also get to laugh. Jason rips me sometimes, and I love it, but that's what makes shows good. We wouldn't be going 100 weeks if we were just boring and we all agreed on stuff. So I don't like agreeing with people on stuff. It makes it so it's boring. So I'm glad that we have a good chemistry here and we have good discussions. And, Jason's held down shows. He's held them down on his own before too. So shout out to him. He's had to come on here after talking complete trash to Miami fans. And then on the weekend, we had to do a 1 a.m. show. And he thought he was going to get jumped.
I hated you that weekend. When Logan, let's put this out here, fans. Logan sends me a drunk text at about 1:15 in the morning that says, "Are we doing this?" And I'm thinking, all right, let's see what happens. And then an hour later, we're still on this damn thing talking about Florida State getting beat by 42 points to Miami. Logan, I'm not gonna lie, that was 1 week, and I hated you.
And I will say I appreciate both of you for taking that hit after hit after hit after hit for whatever it was, 2 hours, and holding up my channel. That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. This just in, we've got a special guest on the line coming in.
Whoa,
look at this.
Car.
His Wi-Fi works.
Bob Marley?
Kind of.
Bob Marley?
All we see is the chest, man. This is like Girls Gone Wild. All we see is chest.
There he is.
I didn't want to die.
Folks, everyone, Big Game James Coleman.
James comes in here for the last minute of the show.
Yeah, I thought it was listen, man. We had Pop Warner championship practice. I mean, I-9. I thought it was at 7. I don't know why I thought it was at 6. My bad.
Shout out to the
anyway,
under-9 team. Shout out to James Coleman. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're happy you showed up.
Man. So that was a different episode?
We just got done talking about our favorite memories and just looking back at our last 100 episodes, and we're just kind of just signing off and saying thank you to the fans and everybody.
Let's ask James. Though before we go, because we all talked about it. James, spring game this Saturday. Who are you looking at? What positions are you looking at? What players do you want to see? What questions do you have in the spring game?
The questions I have are, when they go out there and run base, can they give us a good product? Can they entertain the crowd? They look functional. Everybody brags about what the team looked like with Mike Norvell, but the reality of this, to me, they look just as bad. So, like, will we see penalties? Will we see blown calls? Will we see completely drop balls? Will we see a unit that looks functional? I think that's what I'm looking for the most. And what I'm looking for in the quarterbacks, which is the really position that I want to know, is, do they have command presence? Do the guys run up and down? Do they feel like this guy's putting us in the best position to win? And those are things I want to be looking for, and we'll be able to see as a former player.
And then my biggest question of the week, and we'll throw this out to you. We talked about this in the Twitter on the message board. Randy Shannon, the new defensive analyst. We both, Logan and I, love it. I think he's the new defensive coordinator at some point this season. I think.
Whoa, I did not agree with this. Make sure you tell him. I didn't agree on that.
Well, if you would not interrupt me, I would have said that next.
Making sure.
I think he'll be the next defensive coordinator. Logan thinks he won't be, and I think your Wi-Fi just went out. There it is. You're back. What are your thoughts on Randy Shannon? Do you think he stays defensive analyst, or do you think he gets promoted at some point?
The analyst. I think what he provides is another set of eyes to help break down off the opposing offenses, and just with him being on the roster alone, and being as a coach, he provides another set of experience in a hot recruiting bit. Randy Shannon is to the city of Miami what Odell is supposedly to the County Pope. And before people go and say, he's lost it, like Miami fans, I know. Well, I mean, you can't replace the 30-plus years that he spent being involved in that area as a player, as a coach, as everything. So while I enjoy it, I like it. My favorite coach of arrival is Randy Shannon.
And then my final question to you, as we're in the overtime portion, sponsored by Popeyes, mostly just to piss off Logan with his Chick-fil-A sponsorship. What is your favorite memory of doing this for 100 weeks?
Honestly, my favorite memory was when actually Mark asked me about, who are some other, FSU guys that he should bring on so that he could do something like this. I never really envisioned that it would be, as big as it was, because from time to time, me and Mark would just do this on our own. And I remember the conversations and liking what Logan was doing at No Game Day. I made a couple of other suggestions. He already knew you, JP. And I wasn't really, I don't even know why I was offered to be on this as much. So, but I just knew, and I knew he could do some quality guys, and the consistency that you guys have been able to do and build up no wins or draw has been very admirable. So that would be my number one memory, remembering when that's where it's at right now.
James, we appreciate you joining us here for the short time. Now, remember, next week we do this at 6. Okay? 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, not 6 o'clock Central. I think we've officially lost him. James, thank you for joining us.
I will make sure we have practice at 5 Central Time. All right,
move it around.
Guys, let's do this for another 100 weeks, okay?
Let's do it.
Well, how about let's start at 1. Let's do this for another week.
Will there be another champ? Will there be a Nah, I don't know about a championship, but we'll see what happens in the next 100 weeks. Never know. Should be a wild ride. The first 100 weeks was wild. What's going to be the next one? Am I going to find a girlfriend by then? We'll see.
Will I find a girlfriend?
Yeah. Well, me and Jason find love.
We should come up with this. Could be a nice little assignment for next week's show as we come up with some intriguing questions to ask for the next 100 shows.
I'm going to set you up on J-Date, Logan, just to see how that goes for you.
J-Date?
J-Date. You'll find a nice Jewish girl. We'll get you.
Oh, God.
It'll be good.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God. I should have been drinking tonight. I should have been
could have.
drinking.
All right, boys. Logan, you got a show tonight, right? We can point people to.
Yeah, it will be tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay.
It'll be tomorrow at 8:30 on YouTube here, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, with Nico. So excited to talk with him. It's always fun to talk with recruits and young guys. Definitely big time commit here, a leader of this class. Supposedly he's really liked with the recruits too. And I want to see what his strategy is this weekend. He's going to get here early, and I want to see what he's up to because he put out a tweet yesterday telling all the recruits that are coming to visit to DM him. So hopefully we'll get some definition on what that entails. And I'm going to talk some spring game and enjoy it while this is the last little bit of football before we go into our spell of hibernation. And we're going to have to just come up with stories of Jason and his stories back in the day at Bullwinkles. And, you know, I don't know if we want to do that or not. But call-in shows, I think call-in shows this offseason would be really fun.
Yeah.
So I just want to see Jason go at it on the phone with somebody. That's really all I want. I want to get my popcorn ready, Mark. I don't know about you, but just him talking trash with a Bulldog or maybe a Clemson Tiger. Definitely a Miami fan. You can sign me up.
That's every day at work.
That is true. But like you and Roland didn't show up today. That big old Miami guy. You know, a few of our Miami fans here didn't show up.
It's not that we're mad. We're just disappointed, guys. Well, let's do this next week, guys.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. And yes, we will try the call-in show. We're going to go Logan's route on this one. We'll give it a go. All right. See everybody back here next Wednesday for 101. Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Florida State Seminoles Live. Jason Parker, NBC6, Logan Robinson, Noel Game Day. They make it happen. They make it work. I am just here for the ride. Thanks so much for joining us.
I feel like
I'm tickling you, Jason. I'm tickling